Tuning into our body when we first start is always such a nice way to start. No matter what it is that's been happening, we can kind of gather everything in. Notice how our body feels, and if we've just been doing something busy, or if we've been stressed or sad or distressed, that's always going to be reflected in our body and in our breath and in the thoughts in our mind. So just starting with this basic checking in is a good idea, partly because sometimes it's not all that obvious what's going on. Sometimes it's right there and we're aware that we're stressed, and other times we're just a little bit tight. Maybe we have a few negative thoughts going on. And we come to a practice so that we can relax, for certain, so that we can relax, but also so that we can really tune in and continue this practice of deepening our knowing of our own experience. So many of us have lived most of our lives not being seen. I know for me, that was always a really big issue for me, especially as a teenager. I didn't feel seen. I didn't feel like I mattered. And I know that's very common. So part of what we're doing during practice is we're seeing ourselves. We're saying to ourselves with this time and the attention that we're worth the time and attention. We're worth seeing. There's something interesting here, something worthy or worthwhile. So it's a powerful message that we're giving ourselves every time we sit for practice. It's quite wonderful. So soak that in, really acknowledge, I'm here to practice. I'm here to see myself and to know myself. That's a worthy endeavor. It's a worthwhile use of my time. Notice your whole body from head to toes. And let yourself relax. As you breathe out, let a wave of relaxation flow down through your body, taking away any tightness or stress. Let that drift down through the forehead and the eyes, the eyebrows, the mouth and the face. Let your whole face soften. And inside your head as well, the hinges of your jaw. If you're clenching your teeth. Notice the space above your tongue. Your vocal cords. Everything in your head and neck, let that be seen and softened. And come through the back of the neck and the muscles of the back. The large muscles in our upper back are often contracted when we're defending ourselves or when we're upset or afraid. So if there's nothing to fear in this moment, in the space that you're in right now, just acknowledge that and let your shoulders relax. Let that defense soften. Anchor in this relaxation through the exhale. That's when our body naturally relaxes. So if you really focus your attention there, really let yourself soften as you exhale. Let your shoulders reach down away from your ears, let them settle. Let your arms relax, your hands, fingers. There's no need for any action at all in the world right now. So we could let our body relax and we could let our arms and hands just be at rest. And when we do this, part of what we're reminding ourselves is that it's okay to rest, that we are worth resting. Our worthiness is not just what we contribute out in the world. We have a basic, fundamental worthiness as a human being. And part of being a human being is that we work, we move out in the world, and part of it is that we move internally. We rest, we reflect, we let our muscles relax, our body relax. And bring your attention back to your face and down through the front of your throat, through your chest, into the stomach area. Oftentimes people will feel some kind of energy in their chest or in the heart center. There might be a feeling of pressure on the chest even. Very common for us to be kind of contracted through that area. So if there's anything like that going on, that's normal, very common. And just bring your attention to it. See if you could allow that to soften a bit. And notice how your stomach area is moving with your breath. It's the lower rib cage really that moves with diaphragmatic breathing. As the diaphragm flattens, the stomach kind of gets pushed down a bit, and then the stomach rises, is our experience of it. So let's really work with that watching, that mindfulness of the breath for a bit. Notice how it feels in your body, where your body is moving. If you're getting mostly movement in the upper chest, it just indicates that your stomach is tight, you're not breathing diaphragmatically. And we know the remedy for that. We just relax our stomach. You could even put a hand on your belly if you like and just feel that nice, smooth rhythm of your breath. We breathe in and we breathe out. We nourish and we cleanse. Our most relaxing breath is continuous. So it sometimes helps to just keep our attention on the continuity and the transitions in the breath. Just as you're finishing your exhalation, let yourself go right into your inhale. Nice deep inhale and then let it go. Just 2 or 3 or 4 seconds later, we're going to have another inhale. We don't need to hold on to anything. Let your mind really soften and relax as you're following your breath. Any other thoughts will come to you in a minute. Right now, just focusing on the breath. Exhale, being aware exactly how does it feel when the muscles of your belly soften like that. Everything settles back towards the spine. And then see if you can maintain that softness as you breathe in. And then letting the breath go again. Align yourself with your body's natural capacity to breathe. And although I haven't said the words witness or objective witness or observer, that's actually what we're all doing. We're experiencing firsthand what's happening in our body, how things soften, how our breath moves. And we're also observing that. Just to be aware of that as well. There's a capacity, a part of the mind, something here that's not just the body, the breath, and the thoughts in our mind. We're able to observe and pay attention, be mindful of that. So let's bring that watching capacity to the thoughts in the mind. Notice where thoughts show up. They're in the area of the brain. We see them, we might hear them. Hearing thoughts in the brain is a little bit different than hearing sounds through our ears. And pictures could be video, they could be still pictures, images, they could come and go in a flood, there could just be one. Let your higher level of the mind observe what's happening in your thought stream for a minute. And notice how some thoughts kind of move through the back of the mind without really getting our attention. A little bit ghost-like almost. And other thoughts are vivid. They're colors and shapes and words, and they just grab us. They bring us right in. And we might have a train of thoughts. We have sensation in our body that's triggered by that. It's just the way it works. And notice any gaps or pauses in your thoughts. Take a moment to really focus on the silence between thoughts. And when we pause like that, we have a moment of silence. We might then notice something that's going on with the breath, or we might notice sensation in our body. We can't really multitask. We're usually paying attention to one or the other. It's like instruments in an orchestra. And something gets a little bit louder and we pay attention to that, and then that softens, and then something else comes on board. We pay attention to that. And then there's a pause where everybody takes a breath. And sometimes what we're working with is feeling isolated or unsure. Maybe our feelings are hurt. There might be a condition where we're feeling some kind of social anxiety. We all know what it feels like to be excluded or not really sure of our welcome somewhere. So we have a lot of evidence through our lives that sometimes that happens. And sometimes for some of us, it's happened a lot, maybe particularly in certain periods of life. As children, it tends to be very threatening. when we're ostracized or shunned or ignored. It doesn't have to be something really dramatic, even. Neglect or not being noticed can feel very devastating. So, see what happens just with those words. Part of what we do in inquiry is look to see what it is that things land on. So, if we have an experience or a fear of something that's happening now, if I get together with these friends, then maybe I'll be ignored. Maybe they won't want me there. They like each other, but they don't really like me. Could be all kinds of thoughts coming up about that. They lead us to feel a little bit not so safe, maybe. So let's take several minutes just to tune in to what it is that's happening. Notice thoughts, images, words, beliefs, and notice the response to that in your body. What are the words that might describe that for you? Notice that and put them up like you're seeing them on a poster board or like you're hearing them in your mind. They won't like me. I'll feel left out, whatever it might be. Notice your response. If it's images or words that are images, you can tap on them. You can also tap on hearing sounds, just bringing your 2 fingers to your forehead, starting to tap and transferring your attention away from the image or words and just to the sound and sensation of the tapping. And notice your breathing. Let your breathing be an anchor. Whatever it is that's coming up are thoughts in the mind. They're not things that are actually happening in your experience right now. We're looking. Keep that awareness that you're looking. You're watching images, hearing words. Sometimes, often, we'll have images of things that happened when we were children, when we felt left out, or maybe even we were being bullied. So, if those are coming up, again, really remain grounded in your breath and your body and that awareness that we're watching. These are things that happened and they felt very distressing at the time. It might still feel distressing as we're bringing them up and looking at them again. These are not happening right now. So look to see if the words or the images can actually threaten you right now. Could they hurt you right now? Could that picture of somebody's face exclude you or make you feel left out? And notice what's happening in your body. There's really no right or wrong way to do this. There's no right or wrong answer. We're just attending to ourselves. We're giving ourselves our own attention. You feel that in your heart center, your stomach. Where do you feel that in your body as you're looking at this? Bring your attention to that location. Notice what it feels like. Remembering that we're observing as well as feeling. The sensation is not me. I'm observing the sensation and I'm feeling it. Why is it here? What does it want me to know? What does it want right now? Why did this particular sensation show up just now? See if you can stay with that welcoming, that curiosity, the openness, that invitation. Let me know what's going on here. Let me see. And notice how your attention moves from the breath and the body to images, perhaps, to sensation, energy. We're just following the trail. Noticing what wants to come forward and be seen. And we're going to finish in a minute. Let whatever's coming up kind of resolve. You can always come back to it another time. And then bring your own attention to your own seeing. I like myself. I include myself. I have room and time to pay attention to me. You might even put your hand on your heart. Really affirm to yourself. I include myself. And then take a few deeper breaths again. There might have been something there that you want to come back to as well. And then when you're ready, open your eyes.